There were days when the world felt too heavy to carry, when you woke up and wished the morning hadn't come, when your chest ached, not from pain, but from emptiness. You looked around, and everything seemed fine to others, but not to you. You smiled when people looked. You laughed when they expected you to. But deep down, you were tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of fighting battles no one could see. And in that silence, you wondered, is this what my life has become? Yet, somewhere inside you, beneath the noise, beneath the fear, a small voice whispered, hold on. The world doesn't stop for anyone. It moves whether you're ready or not. The sun rises, people rush to work, messages keep coming, and you're there, watching everything from a distance. You're in the same room, but it feels like you don't belong anymore. You sit in front of your desk. The same one where dreams once lived. The papers are still there. The laptop still glows. But the spark that once guided your hands, it's gone. You try to write, to create, to move, but your heart feels locked away somewhere you can't reach. The clock ticks. Every second feels like an hour. Every sound feels too loud. In silence. Silence feels like a storm. You tell yourself it's just a bad day. You tell yourself tomorrow will be better. But deep down, you've said that too many times. You've watched your hope fade like the evening light slowly. It's quietly until it's almost gone. There were moments when you almost gave up, not out of weakness, but out of exhaustion. You weren't searching for happiness anymore, just peace, just stillness. You looked at the sky at night and wondered if anyone up there was listening, if anyone understood the pain that doesn't have words. But the truth is, no one saw how strong you were, just by surviving those nights. No one saw the quiet wars you fought inside your own mind. You faced storms that no one even knew existed. And though you felt broken, something inside refused to die. That small spark, that quiet voice, it stayed. It told you, not yet. Even when the world felt cold, even when the tears came without reason, even when your dreams felt too far away, you held on. You didn't know why. You didn't know how, but you stayed. And maybe that was enough, because sometimes staying is where hope begins again. The night may seem endless, but dawn is always waiting, just beyond the darkness. There comes a time when life doesn't break you all at once. It happens slowly, piece by piece. One plan fails, one promise fades, one dream slips away. You tell yourself it's fine, that you'll get through it. But one day you wake up and realize you're standing in the ruins of everything you once believed in. You stare at the walls around you, the same ones that once heard your laughter, now echoing with silence. The coffee tastes bitter. The sunlight feels too bright. You scroll through your phone, pretending to be part of a world that no longer feels yours. Everyone seems to be moving forward, smiling, living, and you're stuck in the same place, pretending you're okay when you're not. There's a moment, a quiet one, when it hits you. You look around, and nothing feels real anymore. The things you loved don't bring peace. The people you trusted don't seem close. You start to question if you ever truly mattered. Nights become heavier. You try to sleep, but your thoughts won't stop whispering. Every mistake, every failure, every word you wish you could take back, they come back louder, sharper. You turn in bed hoping your mind will rest, but it doesn't, because pain has a way of replaying itself when the world goes quiet. You sit there, staring at your reflection. Your eyes look tired, not just from lack of sleep, but from carrying invisible weight. You wonder when you stopped recognizing the person in the mirror. When did you stop believing that things could change? Maybe it was the moment you stopped being understood. When people started saying, it's just a phase. When they stopped asking if you were okay. Or maybe it was when you stopped talking altogether. It's afraid that your words would sound too heavy, too broken. There's a part of you that wants to scream, to break something, to cry, to run. But instead, you just sit in silence. Because sometimes silence feels safer than admitting how lost you really are. And in that silence, your heart grows cold, not out of anger, but out of disappointment. Disappointment in yourself, in life. In the way everything beautiful turned into something fragile, you start to believe that maybe this is it. Maybe this is how it ends quietly without anyone noticing. But deep inside, beneath all the noise, something still beats. It's faint, fragile, but it's there. The part of you that refuses to disappear, the last drop of hope that whispers, not yet. Not like this. You ignore it at first. You push it down, bury it under all the pain, but it doesn't leave. It keeps coming back every time you think you're done. It reminds you you're still here for a reason. And maybe that reason is the beginning of something new. It doesn't happen like in the movies. There's no sudden miracle, no loud music, no one coming to save you. It starts quietly, almost like a mistake. One morning, the light through your window feels different, not brighter, not softer, just ... different. You stare at it, half asleep, not knowing why your chest feels a little less heavy. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something. But for the first time in a long while, you notice that the world outside is still moving, and maybe, just maybe, you can move too. You sit up. The room looks the same, but it doesn't feel the same. There's still the mess, the papers, the clothes, the half-finished thoughts scattered everywhere. But now, instead of avoiding it, you start picking one thing up. Just one. Not because you suddenly feel strong, but because you're tired of feeling empty. You take a breath. A real one. The kind that hurts a little because it's honest. And as you breathe out, you realize something: you've been holding your breath for far too long. You step outside for a moment. The air bites your skin. The wind brushes your hair. The world hasn't changed, but you've started to see it differently. The sound of birds, the color of the sky, the warmth of sunlight, things that used to feel meaningless now remind you that life still exists. Somewhere between all the broken pieces, a small whisper rises inside you. It's not loud. It's not even clear. But it says, you're still here. And for some reason, those 3 words feel powerful enough to make you cry. You think about everything you've lost, the dreams, the people, the time, and yet you're still standing. Maybe not strong, but standing. That has to mean something. You go back inside and open that old journal. The one you haven't touched in months. The pages smell like dust and memory. You pick up a pen and stare at the blank space, unsure of what to write. But then your hand moves on its own, shaky, slow, and the first word comes out: try. It's not much. It's not perfect, but it's yours. And that word becomes a promise, not to the world, but to yourself. You close the book gently and sit in silence. But this time, the silence feels different. It's not heavy anymore. It's calm. It's patient. Because you've learned that healing doesn't start when the pain ends. It starts when you decide to begin again. Even while the pain is still there and in that moment. Sitting between who you were and who you're becoming, you realize something extraordinary. You didn't lose everything. You just lost your way. And now, you're finding it again. The first steps are never graceful. They're messy, uneven, quiet. No one claps for you when you try again. No one sees the courage it takes to wake up and face another day. But that's where strength is born, not in victory, but in the decision to rise after falling. You start small. You clean the corner of your room that's been untouched for weeks. You make your bed, even though you don't feel like it. You take a shower, and for a moment, the water feels like forgiveness. The world doesn't change, but the way you move through it begins to shift. You go for a walk. The air is sharp, but honest. You notice things you've never seen before. A crack in the pavement shaped like a heart. A child laughing. A stranger holding the door for someone else. Little signs that life, somehow, still has kindness hidden inside it. Your mind still argues with you. It says, why bother? You'll fail again. But your heart answers quietly, maybe I won't. You start writing lists not of things you've lost, but of things you still have. A pulse, a breath, a chance. And as simple as that sounds, it's enough to start rebuilding. You begin to work on yourself, not out of pressure, but out of respect. You realize healing isn't about becoming who you were, It's about creating who you're meant to be. You start to forgive the person in the mirror. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "What now?" There are still hard days. Days when the ache returns, when your heart feels too heavy to carry, but this time you don't run from it. You sit with it. You let it pass through you instead of breaking you. Because now you understand pain isn't the end of the story. It's the part that teaches you how to rewrite it. You start to help others again. A message here, a kind word there. You don't even realize it at first, but the moment you help someone else stand, you find yourself standing taller too. One morning you wake up and realize you haven't thought about the past in hours. You were too busy living, too busy growing, too busy trying again. And that's when it hits you. This is what healing looks like. Not fireworks, not perfection, just quiet persistence. Just small victories that no one sees but you. Every scar becomes a story. Every wound becomes wisdom. And with each sunrise, you start believing again. Not that everything will be easy, but that everything will be worth it. Because hope doesn't arrive like a flood. It returns like a whisper, steady, soft, and certain. And this time, you listen, there is no cheering crowd. No camera flash, no applause, just you. And the sound of your own heartbeat, steady, calm, alive. It's strange, isn't it? How one day, without even realizing it, the heaviness you carried for so long begins to fade. Not vanish completely, just loosen its grip. You wake up and the air feels lighter. The same sun that once burned your eyes now feels warm against your skin. You look around the same walls, the same streets, the same world, yet everything feels different. Not because it changed, but because you did. You walk slower now, not out of tiredness, but out of peace. You no longer rush to prove yourself, no longer chase what isn't meant for you. You've learned the art of stillness, the power of existing without needing to be seen. There was a time you thought survival wasn't enough. You believed you had to be perfect, successful, unstoppable. But now you understand sometimes surviving is the victory, because no one knows what it took for you to stand here today. You remember the nights. You almost gave up the moments you sat on the floor with your head in your hands, whispering, "I can't do this anymore." And now, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still hoping. That's not weakness. That's strength in its purest form. You open your window and feel the wind against your face. The city hums below, full of life. You smile not because everything's perfect, but because you finally made peace with imperfection. You've learned that healing doesn't mean forgetting the pain. It means learning to live with it. Gently, your scars are no longer something to hide. They've become your proof that you faced storms and survived them. Proof that even in your lowest moments, you were still writing your comeback. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need anyone to say, "I'm proud of you," because for the first time, you whisper it to yourself and you mean it. You've become your own strength, your own comfort, your own home. And as you look toward the horizon, something inside you smiles. Not out of excitement, but out of quiet gratitude. You realize that the person who once begged for light has now become it. The journey wasn't about winning. It was about awakening. And now, without fanfare or noise, you finally understand this is what victory feels like. Not loud, not bright, but calm, peaceful, whole, because you never gave up hope, and in return, hope never gave up on you. The sun begins to set. Not with fire, but with grace, soft, golden, unhurried. The world slows down for a moment. As if it knows your story is finding its calm, you stand by the window watching the light melt into the sky. It's strange how silence, the same silence that once felt unbearable, now feels sacred. You don't fill it with noise anymore. You just breathe in the quiet and let it hold you. The wind hums through the curtains. The clock ticks, not as a reminder of what's gone, but of what still remains. Time, once your enemy, now feels like a gentle companion. You've learned that life isn't a race, it's a rhythm. Some days you dance, some days you crawl, and both are okay. You walk outside. The streets are the same, but tonight they shimmer differently. The air feels kinder. Every sound, every shadow, every flicker of light carries meaning now. You realize you no longer fear the night, because you've lived through it and found your way back. You pass by people, some laughing, some lost, some just existing, and for the first time. You don't envy or compare. You simply wish them peace. Because you've learned that everyone is fighting something invisible. Everyone is trying to heal in their own way. You stop by a bench, sit down, and look at the stars. They seem brighter than before. Maybe they've always been this way, but tonight, you finally have the eyes to see them. A small smile forms, not the kind that hides pain, but the kind that understands it. You think back to everything you've endured. The nights, the tears, the silence, the waiting, and you whisper softly to yourself, I made it. Not icily, but honestly, the journey didn't make you someone new. It revealed who you always were. Someone strong, someone patient, someone still standing as you sit there. Gentle breeze passes by. It feels like life itself, moving, forgiving, alive. You close your eyes and let it brush against your skin, like a quiet promise that tomorrow will come. And it will be beautiful in its own imperfect way. The camera pulls back, faceless. Nameless, just a soul sitting beneath an open sky. The music fades, soft and warm. The world keeps turning, but you are still at peace. At last. And as the final light fades into dusk, words appear on screen. You never gave up hope. And that made all the difference. The night has fallen, but this time, it feels different. It doesn't feel like the end. It feels like a beginning. The stars aren't just lights in the sky anymore. They're reminders. Reminders that even in the darkest hours, something still shines. You walk down a quiet road. No destination, no rush. Each step sounds steady, like the rhythm of a healed heart. The world feels open again, vast, alive, forgiving. You realize that you don't need everything to make sense anymore. You just need to keep walking. You pass the places where you once broke, where your tears once fell. But now they don't hurt the same way. They stand as silent witnesses, proof that you've been there, proof that you survived. Every scar, every ache, every sleepless night was not wasted. It was building something inside you, something unshakable. You remember the version of yourself who almost gave up, the one who thought it would never get better. If only they could see you now. You'd tell them you were never weak. You were just growing roots in the dark, because that's what hope is. Not a shout, but a whisper. Not a finish line, but a flame that refuses to die. And somehow, you carried that flame through every storm. The camera fades to a horizon, soft, endless, golden. You are not running anymore. You are not hiding. You are simply here, alive, awake, whole. You look up at the sky and realize hope was never something you had to find. It was something that was always inside you, waiting to be remembered. Your story isn't perfect. It's real, and that's what makes it beautiful. The world may never know how much it took for you to stand here, but you do, and that's enough. The screen fades to black. Your heartbeat echoes faintly, steady, sure. A final line appears. For everyone still trying, you're not alone. You never gave up hope, and because of that, hope will never give up on you. The music rises, soft piano, slow strings, warm light. The frame lingers for a moment longer than expected, allowing the silence to speak for you. Then, gently, it fades away, and all that remains is the feeling, quiet, deep, endless, that maybe, just maybe, this is what peace feels like.